Benue is light green in color. Both rivers meet in Lokoja, forming a Y-shaped confluence called Niger-Benue Confluence. The confluence flows southwards into the sea. This confluence was discovered by the Landis brothers in 1830 at the peak of the dry season. It is one of the major tourist attractions in Lokoja.
I'm standing in the oldest primary school in northern Nigeria, built in 1865. This school was actually established by Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther. As you can see, let's get in.
Our next stop is the Holy Trinity Primary School. The Holy Trinity Primary School was founded by Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who was a Nigerian linguist, clergyman, and the first African Anglican bishop of West Africa. He and his family were captured by slave riders when he was about 12 years old. Crowther returned to Africa in 1843. Henry Townsend opened a mission in Abeokuta in today's Ogun State. He was selected to accompany the missionary. His goal was to stimulate commerce, teach agricultural techniques, encourage Christianity, and help end the slave trade. Following one of the expeditions, Crowther then came into Lokoja, where he established the Holy Trinity Primary School that happens to be the first primary school in northern Nigeria. The school was established in the year 1865 and it is located in the premises of the modern-day Holy Trinity Anglican Church in Lokoja. The school today serves as a historical monument. Also found in the same premises is the spot where the Iron of Liberty is situated. The Iron of Liberty is this point where slave trade was abolished. Lokoja between the 18th and 19th century also became a collection center for slaves seized from slave merchants. From here, they were subsequently set free. The freedom spot was marked with an iron pole tagged the Iron of Liberty. It was said that Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther spearheaded the anti-slavery crusade. From the Holy Trinity Primary School, we headed straight to the cenotaph. The cenotaph is a monument built in memory of the dead. The World War Cenotaph in Lokoja was erected in remembrance of the fallen heroes of the Nigerian British officers and other ranks who fought the First and Second World Wars of 1914, 1918, and 1939 to 1945. There you would find a copy of the cannon used by the British forces in both East Africa and Cameroon against the German forces in defense of their occupied territories during the Scramble for Africa. The Scramble for Africa refers to the period between roughly 1884 and 1914 when the European colonizers partitioned largely unexplored African continent into protectorates, colonies, and free trade areas. Today, government functionaries and Nigerian soldiers in Kogi State mark the yearly Army Remembrance Day in this place. The concrete plaque carries name inscriptions of the soldiers who fought in the two world wars. After the government closed its consulate in Lokoja in 1866, the Royal Niger Company was formed in 1882 to administer Lokoja. This was also revoked on the 31st of December 1899, and on the 1st of January 1900, the British government assumed direct control and the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria was declared over, with Lord Lugard as the High Commissioner. From the cenotaph, we went to the spot where the Royal Niger Company flag was lowered in 1900. After the British government had closed down its consulate in Lokoja in 1866, it granted a charter to the Royal Niger Company to administer Lokoja. This charter was revoked in 1900 and the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria was declared with Lord Logard as the High Commissioner. The spot where the formal handing over of the administration of the Northern Protectorate took place was marked with a concrete pillar measuring about 2.5 meters in height. It was here that the Royal Niger Company flag was lowered for the last time in Nigeria, and that of the British government raised in January 1st, 1900.
Join Mary Emmanuel on a ride to memory lane, only on AETV Live.
Reading history books is one thing, but being on the spot helps to put the past in context. Up next is our visit to Lord Logard's senior staff quarters. There are about 5 of them splattered around Lokoja's town with a similitude look. They are prefabricated houses whose materials were said to have been brought in from England in 1900. It is said that no single nail was used to construct any of these buildings, as all of the buildings stand on slits and can be dismantled. This is one of the buildings which is now the office of the Kogi State Hotels and Tourism Board. In here, you will find the pictorial gallery of Lord Logard's portrait and pictures of the Nigerian past leaders. Although it didn't contain much artifacts, but it is refreshing to know that you are having a feel of history. Just when I thought I was done for the day, then I was told that Lokoja has the largest European African missionary cemetery in Nigeria. On hearing this, I flinched, but it is also a colonial monument worthy of visit, so we headed there. Buried within these fenced grounds are men and women who shaped the course of Nigerian history from as far back as the 19th century. These are the tombs of missionaries and European soldiers of the West African Frontier Force that stationed in Lokoja between 1867 and 1926. Some of the tombs carry brief inscriptions that give details of the dead, such as their names, professions, addresses, and even nature of death. Apart from the richness of colonial relics splattered all around Lokoja in Kogi State, there are other interesting tourist spots that might interest you. One of which is the Palace of the Oinoi of Ebiralan in Kogi State. It is about 1 hour 4 minutes drive from Lokoja, and of course, we hit the road and got to Okene, the rocky town and home of the Ebira people. The palace, which is now called the Azad Palace, have been described as the most beautiful house in West Africa and arguably the most magnificent palace in Nigeria. The Azad Palace belongs to the most revered monarch of Ebiraland, His Royal Majesty Alhaji Dr. Abdul Rahman Ado Ibrahim, who assumed office in June 1997 as the Ohinoi of Ebiraland. It is said that the monarch changed the name of the palace to Azad Palace in memory of his eldest son, Prince Azad Ado Ibrahim, who died some years ago. You would agree with me that the palace of the Ohinoi of Ebiraland is indeed a magnificent one and a place worthy of visit. And that's it on a ride to memory lane with Mary Emmanuel for today. Remember, a generation which ignores history has no past and no future. I hope you learned a thing or two on today's episode. Until I come your way again, bye for now.